to the Smack Raw Podcast. We are your hosts, Kyle and Benji. Rob Roode is busy attending to his aquarium tonight, so we have a special guest covering Raw with you folks. We got Benji. What's up, man?
Yo, while your boy Rob's over there sleeping with the fishes, I'm just gonna cover it in here a little bit, okay?
Yes, we are your one-stop shop for your WWE main show reviews, recaps, predictions. Every now and then we might cover NXT, another big show like AEW, but for the most part, for right now, mainly covering Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. And tonight's episode will be covering June 10th's episode of Raw. If you're enjoying hearing us on YouTube, of course, you can always search for us at the SmackDraw Podcast. You can hear us at the Podbean at smackdrawpod.podbean.com, or you can even find us on Spotify. We, of course, like to talk to you guys directly. You can hit us up on Twitter. I, of course, can be found at The Kai Tai Show. And Rob, even though he's not here, you can find him at 2 words can't see me. That's 2 TWO and C, the letter C. And Benji, where are you at?
You can find me on all platforms at Calavera Comedy. Simple as that.
Simple as that. Not gonna lie, man, a little weird. 10 episodes in, now it's Rob's gone, it's me and you. It's dope. I'm excited, though. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Always welcome an invite.
Yeah, man. If I was doing this solo, I would be suffering right now. I'm not going to lie. I would be sweating profusely. Well, anyway.
You're missing your tag team partner, man. I get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But anyways, we're here to cover Raw. But before we dive into it, did you happen to catch the Super Showdown?
I did. I actually watched the entirety of Super Showdown because I hate myself.
Wasn't
apparently
it as good, if not better, than WrestleMania?
You know, I will never watch WrestleMania. This is it. Shawn Michaels Taker, forget it.
Why bother watching WrestleMania when you got Super Showdown hailing from Saudi Arabia? I don't want to get too far into the show because we're not reviewing that one, but we might as well talk a little bit about the one match that's obviously been the ire of most people's attention. And of course, I'm talking about Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party.
Right, of course.
Nah.
That match.
Joking. Undertaker and Goldberg, man. Come on, dude.
My God.
Worst match 2019?
I think Goldberg lost at least 2 feet of height on that one.
Jesus Christ! I didn't realize. I didn't see. I mean, I watched it, but I didn't notice him hitting the ring post until afterwards, and then the tombstone.
Even before that, you know how he does a little entrance with the locker room and everything.
Yeah, he headbutts the damn door.
Oh
my God, dude! He was bleeding before he got to the ring.
Bruh.
And Goldberg is what drew me to the show. I was like, you know what? If anyone's gonna get me excited, it's Goldberg. He's got this aura. He's got this just mystique to him. They haven't overplayed him. I was like, yeah, man, Goldberg's got me hype. And then he arguably is the downfall of the main event, which is also your final impression of the show, and just led to a Twitter meltdown.
I mean, to be fair, Undertaker wasn't all innocent either.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, kind of pairing 2 guys at that age, that was, I don't know. I don't know what people expected out of that.
You're not going to get an Okada and Omega match out of them, that's for sure.
Oh, no.
No. Hell, you're not going to get a Jericho and Omega match out of them.
Man.
But, God knows, man. No one saw it going that bad. I want to, I'm trying to, be soft, and try to, dance around it. But no, it really went south. It's arguably, now granted, I'm sure there's some indie matches that have been absolute garbage this year. But for a main event, on a pay-per-view, it's arguably got to be worst match of the year, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I honestly thought I was gonna watch a death. I swear, I thought
Dude.
somebody was gonna die.
Like, the Brainbuster didn't freak me out as much as Twitter made it out to be. Like, because to me, when I saw the jackhammer flop, which just ended up being a Brainbuster,
Mm-hmm.
that's all it came across to me as was, okay, it was a Brainbuster, but it didn't look that bad. And then I got on Twitter, and of course, that was like the number one retweeted GIF and everything was Undertaker. And I'm like, dude, did you not see like Goldberg's neck get freaking snapped in half with that damn tombstone? I was like, man,
Yeah.
obviously the tombstone was the worst. But no, man, it was just rough. I mean, you can't really dance on it too long without just, it's two guys in their 50s. They both work at max one match a year. Goldberg even less than that. You know what I mean? What do you expect? What do you expect? Throw him in the opening match. You know what I mean? Don't make him the main event. Let somebody that has more ring experience or is at least more what would you say? Just in
You could have
tune.
threw him like you could have put one of them against a younger guy instead of versus each other. I think
Yeah, that's a good point too.
would have been better because there are a lot of wrestlers in their 50s outside of WWE that are killing it. And
Yeah.
to see that it was just like, yeah, that's not.
But when you see that match go that south, you got to feel like, damn, you should have saw that coming, though, right? You can't act surprised.
Nah, but money talks, man. Money
Money
talks.
talks. That's for damn sure. That's why we got Saudi Arabia to begin with. Well, anyways, that's pretty much it for me as far as that goes. I guess we can dive into Raw now, unless there's anything else you want to cover.
From Saudi Arabia, nah, I'm all Saudied out. I'm good.
Yeah, honestly, same here. So Raw opened up this week from San Jose, California. Kicked off with Rollins heading to the ring with chair in tow. Mainly just being a tool to recap the Super Showdown match with Baron Corbin. And of course, that ultimately led to Rollins beating down Brock Lesnar, resulting in Lesnar's not failed cash in, just unable to cash in the Money in the Bank contract. While we're getting the recap and Seth talking junk about it, we're interrupted by Corbin. I'm not sure if this match was previously announced, but it is announced that it will be Corbin's against Rollins at Stomping Grounds in their rematch with a special guest referee. Of course, because Corbin's blaming his loss on John Combs for the loss, which it's whatever. It's a tool to get a special ref in there.
Rightfully so. That referee interfered. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he did. He got a little too much in there, It looked like he was distracting Corbin, but hey, man, it's in Saudi Arabia. Who cares? By this point, I put it on Twitter. By this point, looking how they're going in on Corbin, I'm convinced that dude's gonna have a universal reign by the end of the year.
As he should.
I'm telling you, man.
As he should.
At this point, it is hard to argue why he shouldn't. For a while, it's like he's stale and he feels like a mid-card guy. But, I mean, dude's danced with the champion long enough,
People absolutely hate him.
Yeah.
They hate him.
And he's getting the Kofi treatment, dude. He got Zayn. Zayn came out there to endorse him along with Kevin Owens during that whole promo. And they both were saying that, Corbin would be a better champion than Seth Rollins. Which, I've heard... I've seen heels team up, but it's weird to hear heels, endorse other heels.
Right.
So it's they're really going in on Corbin, man. I'm convinced, dude. He's going to have that belt by the end of the year. Even as a transitional champion, he's going to be a champ.
I would love to see it more so than anything, just to see your boy Rob be so pissed off.
Dude, I'm telling you, Rob will lose his stuff, man. He'll probably quit the podcast. He'll be like, screw it, I'm streaming Destiny. I'm not covering an episode of Corbin with that belt.
Oh, it needs to happen now.
Yeah.
That'd be...
No, I need a broadcast partner, okay? Um, but anyways, by the time Kevin Owens comes out, Seth Rollins says, let's fight tonight. Sets up the main event. It's going to be Seth Rollins. I said Seth Owens, I think, but Seth Rollins against Kevin Owens in Raw's main event. My favorite part of this whole promo was actually really subtle. Seth walked up to the three guys standing at the top of the ramp, and
Right.
just stared them all down and walked by. There was like no beat down, nothing. I was like,
Surprisingly, yeah.
yeah. Normally, you can't get a heel and a face within like 3 foot of each other without like a fight ensuing. So that was kind of neat. I noticed it, man.
That was, yeah, it's a little different.
Little different, little bit. Those little subtle things, man, they'll add up.
What happened after that?
After that, we get the Super Showdown rematch between Lars Sullivan and the Lucha House Party. It's announced. Yes, it's announced a 3-on-1 handicap elimination match, and you already know how this is gonna go.
It's not making anybody look good at all.
No, man, dude. I would not be surprised if come summer 2020, Lars Sullivan is a comedy act, if at all, on TV. Like and apparently they're really high on him backstage. Like maybe Vince is, but
I mean, he was coming in hot off NXT, but the way that they're booking him is kind of early Strowman. I mean, even with Strowman on the same whatever show Lars Sullivan is on, even with that, the characters are kind of similar. I feel like.
And to me, it feels he honestly like trying to like think about who he could reflect. He feels like a watered down PG Mankind. Like
Okay.
he's self.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, no, man. Self-deprecating, calls himself a freak, and whatever. But it's so.
It's very transparent. That's what they're trying to do.
Exactly. There's no depth to this character, and it's tough, man, because I want to get behind. I want to get behind everybody. There's no wrestler
Right.
like I want to hate. You know what I mean? Like
You want to give everyone at least a chance, right?
Dude, I have
At
to
least-
watch 5 hours of programming every week. I want to enjoy it, Like,
Right.
but
Right.
But yeah, no, you're right. It is transparent. But the match goes pretty much as you would expect. Lars Sullivan completely dismantles the Lucha House Party, eliminates them one by one, but refuses to end the match, essentially just toying with them. He hit a couple cool spots. He did a like a military press on Kalisto on the outside onto the stairs. He lawn darted Lince Dorado into the ring post and then hit a huge flying headbutt on Grand Metalik. So he hit 3 big moves that look great, but at the end of the day, you're right, man. It did nothing for him. It's extremely forgettable, and it doesn't really get you looking forward to any 4 of these guys and what they might be doing in the future.
Right. You could have. Yeah. There's a lot of other people that aren't doing anything right now that you could have them, beat up or whatever.
Yeah, man. It's a tough break, man, and it. I'm not gonna dive into it, but it's one of the major criticisms WWE might be going through at the time, in just not doing the best stuff with their talent. But coming up is arguably one of the best things that happened on the show, and we get the 24/7 beginning of the title skit, and this was good, man, because
Our truth can do no wrong.
dude, he cannot. I got some 28 days later vibes in the beginning of this.
Oh yeah.
Truth running out and just pretty much the entire mid card acting like freaking zombies running after him,
yeah.
and they catch him, and this is what caught me off guard was they caught him, but no one attacked him, and I was like, what the hell? They're not beating him down, and then I realized like, oh, there's no ref, there's no point for the brawl. While we're waiting for a ref to appear, though, Truth is cornered against a elevator. The elevator opens and he retreats into it with him and a couple other wrestlers. The door closes and the ref finally appears. We cut to the inside of the elevator, and already I knew that this was it for the rest of the night. It's gonna be some claustrophobic segments of Truth. You got Truth, Carmella, EC3, Heath Slater, Drake Maverick, and Cedric Alexander. And what a good, like, blend of guys that just to try and get personality off them you had. Like, I mean, we could go into like a deep cut into this, but it was good. Like, those six guys blended really well for the damn comedy, man. I was all about it for the rest of the night, dude. Uh, it can't, I'm sorry, I'm laughing thinking about the stuff that came up later. But
No, that was
yeah,
hilarious.
there's some good stuff, man.
Cedric Alexander, EC3, Heath Slater, Carmella, Drake Maverick. Our Truth was a perfect combination of people.
Yeah. Initially, the elevator starts to go either up or down, but then you see a jolt signaling the elevator is jammed or stuck. And at that point, you see the panic set in. And at this point, Heath Slater was the only one that really stuck out to me. And he starts panicking and going into the whole, like, I have kids shtick, which was great to see him dive into. But it just got me tickled and excited for later on. We cut away, and we go from, like, one of the highlights to one of the just, like, we got Michael Cole conducting a side-by-side, almost like satellite interview between Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch. Ultimately, I like both the talents here, but they have some of the most bland chemistry, unless I'm missing it. Neither of them seem into this, dude.
I think they tapped out with their rivalry a while now because it's just more of the same, pretty much.
Just spinning wheels, right?
Right, like it feels as they're restrained as far as what they can say because they go at each other a lot harder on Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's where most of this, and who would have thought the biggest rivalry really is between Becky Lynch and Edge right now.
They went too far.
That goes too far. That starts involving lewd pictures and stuff that we really can't get into on the show.
Right.
But as far as what's going on TV, yeah,
it just felt very scripted as far as to what they could say, and you saw the little moment that Becky Lynch had a moment to say her own retort to what she wanted. The energy picked up completely.
Yeah.
Towards the end, it just felt very restrained and very scripted.
And you know what? To me, this is kind of like one of the more disappointing things because I really want to get behind Lacey. I saw that that video of her in developmental, talking about her time in the military, and like really pouring her soul out there. And I was like, damn, this woman knows, like, she can cut a promo. Just let her be passionate. And it's just weird because the character we get, it's half and half. Like, the promos that you're seeing on TV aren't that good, but her following through with the character outside of television is awesome. Like,
I had a run-in with her once at an airport.
Yeah,
it was me and a bunch of friends, whatever. She happened to be walking by, and obviously you want to take a picture. So we all go ask her. She was kind enough to want to take a picture with us. So we set up beside ourselves, whatever. One of my friends going to take the picture. And she's talking to us, super nice, such a humble person. She's telling them, go ahead, take the picture and everything. And she's like, okay. And she's like, okay, you guys ready? Everyone's excited. Yeah, we'll take the picture. Yeah, okay, so you guys are ready? Yeah. And then she says, not today, sweetheart, as she walks away.
Oh, my God. That is so good. That is so good.
Yep.
Dude, you got to appreciate, man. People.
We were crushed, but it was like, gotta respect that.
You have to, man. Like, you.
And she never came back. She never came back and took the picture.
No, it's so good. Oh my God, I'm jealous, man. I wish I could get freaking side Lacey.
She was great.
That was good, man. Well, anyways, after the interview, we cut backstage. We got Nikki Cross back there with Alexa Bliss. Um, Alexa, who has been flip flopping between heel and face, this time I feel is playing more into the manipulative heel this week because you never know which Alexa Bliss you're going to get. But essentially, she's trying to portray Bailey as a manipulator to Nikki Cross, all while seemingly trying to manipulate Nikki the entire time to get her in the corner for her tag match later, where she teams with Lacey Evans to go against Becky Lynch and Bailey. And yeah, Nikki buys into it, and it really it intrigues me because I don't think it. I feel like this is one of the more. It could be shallow. It could be deep. It could be the obvious setup that Alexa Bliss is just gonna betray Nikki Cross at the first whim or whatever. But what I've been cheering for, which is funny because a damn promo came up immediately afterwards, is I like the idea of the Rock and Sock kind of dichotomy between them, where they're polar opposites, but it really feeds off of each other. And this week didn't really make me feel too much like it's going to go that way because I think Alexa needs to be more face for this to happen. And this week she did seem heel, but it was further reinforced that immediately following this backstage segment, besides them announcing that we're going to get Miz TV with Samoa Joe up next, it cuts into the Rock and Sock. Like I can't remember what they were promoting, but whatever they were promoting highlighted the damn Rock and Sock, and I was like, oh my god, WWE's listening to me. This is what I've been calling for right here. But maybe I was just reading too far into it.
Do you think that? Just a question. Do you think that they are read whole status and angle with them?
What's that?
Do you think they are redoing the whole Trish Stratus and Mickey James angle with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross?
You know, if I had more faith in the WWE, then maybe. But to me, I feel like they have a hard time trusting their audience to get deep angles, so they rely on shallow angles. So I'm more inclined to just what we see on the surface. Alexa Bliss manipulates Nikki Cross and then turns on her the moment Nikki lets her down. You know, that's ultimately what I'm expecting. I would like to see. No, I would absolutely love to see the Trish and Mickey James angle with one obsessed with the other. Or, like I said, the Rock and Sock, where you got a heel and face, and the face pulls the heel in, and they kind of meet in the middle, you know, and they both are like odd bedfellows, but just the chemistry is amazing, unexpectedly. So,
True. They really haven't done that with the women. They did a little soft version with Bailey and Sasha Banks.
right. That was so on the nose, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No subtlety at all.
No, and that's what ultimately has me feeling like this is just fantasy booking on my end. You know, like I really do expect it to be shallow, but I would like to see that, man. Ultimately, the angle I would like to see play out is out of nowhere. Nikki Cross turns on Alexa Bliss and explains that she knew the whole time Alexa would eventually turn on her, and so she wanted to pull the trigger first.
Okay.
But because it's like at this point, how many people has Alexa Bliss turned on? You know what I mean? It's like if you team up with Alexa Bliss, you're guaranteed to have her betray you. You had Mickey James, you had the Rock's
Nia
Jax, yeah. You know, she turns on everybody. So
subvert your expectations a little bit with that. I got you.
Yeah. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
So they go right into the tag match with champions versus challenger kind of thing, I guess, in the next match.
No. We got next up was the
Oh shit.
hold on, no. Next up, we got the Miz TV segment.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And there wasn't much here, although actually it did go actually right into the 3-on-3 tag match, which normally they start the night off with. So I kind of appreciated it following in the middle of the card.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was Miz TV. He brought out Samoa Joe as the guest. Miz challenges Joe's what do you call how he explains how he got the belt back. Miz is saying you want it back. Joe says he never lost it. Whatever.
His legitimacy
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
champion.
Ultimately, Joe brags about beating down Rey Mysterio after Rey relinquished the belt back to him. Miz takes umbrage with Joe threatening, of course, Rey Mysterio's child, playing on the fact that the Miz is now a proud father, and Joe feeds into it, says maybe he'll involve Miz's family, which got me stoked as hell, by the way. I was like, oh, let me get a personal feud between these two. Oh my god, the personalities, man, would be so good. But ultimately that's not what we got at the end. We just got a cluster of people interrupting and
Yeah.
ended up with Braun Strowman first coming out, challenging Joe to a match. But before that could happen, Bobby Lashley comes out, and even quicker is followed by Ricochet, and even quicker than that, followed by Cesaro. At this point, when you see that many people out there, you know what's going to happen. A brawl ensues. Commercial. We come back. We got a 3-on-3 tag match. Faces against
Heels
heels.
against heels. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which this match was actually pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Ultimately, if I'm thinking about it, it was probably match of the night because they kept the pace so high.
Yeah.
They let Ricochet shine in the beginning. Um, kept the pace high. Like I said, he hit the Hurricanrana pin on Cesaro. Cesaro kicked out. Did some stuff over the top rope. Miz started giving the it kicks. This tickled me, man. This really got me, and I hope someone else picked up on this. But now that Miz's face and Daniel Bryan is heel, this forced Corey Graves to finally acknowledge Miz stole the kicks from Daniel Bryan and said he was paying homage to Bryan's yes kicks. Like we got a year of Corey Graves denying Daniel Bryan's talent, and now that Daniel Bryan's heel, yeah, all of a sudden Miz is paying homage to Bryan. It tickled me, man.
That's a pretty good pickup. I didn't notice that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Cesaro got a huge highlight. He hit a swing for what felt like 10 minutes on the
Damn.
Miz, dude. Yeah, man. Um, Ultimately, in the third act of the match, this is where things got a little scary. The pace picked up even faster. You got everybody hitting the big moves, and the match ultimately ended after Miz hit a skull-crushing finale on Cesaro, followed up by Ricochet coming in and hitting a 630 on Cesaro's legs, and got the pin. And boy, Cesaro looked like he might be injured, man.
No, yeah. Ricochet normally he takes his time in that move. He kind of rushed it and he went way off angle, right onto his legs, and
Yeah.
he grabbed that knee right away.
It
Yeah,
easily
that
could
was,
result in a hyperextended knee, man. Like,
which would be terrible because it's like every time Cesaro starts getting momentum, just something always ends up happening,
yep, something, man. And
which would suck.
to me, like watching it in real time, felt like Cesaro was just playing into it. But then, rarely do you see the heel instantly roll out the ring, clutching a
Right.
body
Yeah.
part. You know what I mean? Like normally, like a heel just gets beat up, they lay there, and the babyface does whatever. But yeah, no, Cesaro, man, he instantly clutched that knee and rolled out of the ring after
Which
that
is
pin was
a little
countered.
uncharacteristic of him because he's a
Yeah,
tough dude. Usually, when he's injured, he'll stay in, be knocked out or whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
as you mentioned, he rolled straight out and they carried him out of the ring.
yeah, man.
Um,
Now,
yeah, that was.
the more I'm thinking about it, the more grim I'm feeling, bro. Like this does not feel good.
If anything, right now is not a time to get injured. I don't think for anybody.
Hell no, hell no. But that was the end of the 6-man tag match, and which was great, man. It was good. Unfortunately, it doesn't really push the story for anyone, because at the end of this match, ultimately, this did revolve around the U.S. title, and it didn't give us any resolve on who might be challenging for it. Personally, giving the opening of the segment, I would like to see Miz against Samoa Joe. What about you?
That'd be good. If Mrs. Face, I would have liked to see Cesaro, but seeing how everybody's in it, they're either going to give it to Strowman or just throw everybody in some kind of fatal 5-way match or whatever.
A 6-pack challenge, bro.
6-pack challenge. There you go.
That's probably what it'll end up being, honestly.
There's your pre-show for the stomping ground right there.
You go. There you go. Yeah. At the end of the day, though, like the Miz, I mentioned this on Twitter the other day. Someone was asking who we wanted to see win the Intercontinental belt, and I want the Miz to get it, man. I am so ready, because I don't know how many people are aware of this, but the Miz is like 30 days or so away from having the Intercontinental belt for longer than any other combined reign in history. So if he gets that belt and holds it for roughly 30 days, he'll have held the Intercontinental belt more days than anybody else ever in WWE's history. And I think that's pretty badass.
When he won it last, he had such passion, such a fire with that belt. It made it seem like the most prestigious belt on the entire show.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it was hard because, like, he did elevate it, but no one could rise to the occasion other than Dolph Ziggler. Like, Dolph was the only really intriguing matchup, and that's not gonna have legs. That's not gonna carry on for 2 years, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So yeah, I'm waiting for the next good feud with the Miz and whoever has the IC belt, because that's probably, I just can't wait to see that accomplishment. You know what I mean? It's witnessing history, and not one of those cheap, like, first time ever witnesses, like something that took a lot of work, you know? And
right.
So that'll be satisfying to watch.
No, Miz has come a long way. I used to hate the Miz with a passion, like that guttural like hate. But he's come such a long way. He's won me over. Like,
yeah, and
he would be it'd be great to see that. For sure.
It's kind of how I feel about Corbin, but I feel like they're rushing it. You know what I mean? Like, Corbin, I feel like could be like the Miz, just the guy gets bashed on and hated forever, you know, but let him be a consistent worker for a couple of years, and people have no choice to respect him. And I don't feel like they're rushing it, because he's not holding a world championship right now. He's just fighting for one, so it doesn't bother me like it does some other people, But I feel like that could be Corbin in the long run if they do it right. Backstage, we got Corbin being asked from interviewer if he's found a ref yet. He says no, and in comes Zayn. He comes in to start courting him. Pretty much the end of that. Which actually leads me to believe, do we think it's going to be that on the nose? Do we think Zayn is set up to be the special guest ref, or are we going to have something a little bit different, do you think?
Seeing as how afterwards, as we'll talk about, him talking to Shane McMahon, whatever, it would not surprise me at all if we see Shane McMahon involved somehow in another
big feud. Yeah.
You got to push young talent, man. This is WWE.
I know. Oh, my God. What they've done with Shane in 2019, I swear to God, is one of the just...
There's no words for it.
Oh, my God, dude. It feels so obvious. Like, if you just...
He has not lost since WrestleMania.
Oh, my God, man.
He's beat The Miz so many times. He's beat Roman, like... It's just, man.
What they've done with him feels as obvious as a bad decision as it would be to go out with for a night of drinks with your ex-girlfriend while you're married. You know, like
Very
it
specific, but okay.
feels that obvious. Like I'm not pulling that from anything personal. I'm trying to think of like an obvious bad choice, and I'm a married man, so like that comes to my mind. You know, but it feels like at the end of the night you'd be like, "Damn, yeah, that was pretty stupid, wasn't it?" You know, and I feel
Yeah,
like that's going to
yeah.
be 2019 when they look at what they did with Shane WWE's and you'd be like, "Yeah, it was kind of a bad idea to have him feature on every single pay-per-view
Every
and
pay per view,
be the first
every
guy
show. Yeah.
to pin Roman Reigns since Roman came back from leukemia.
Oh,
Since
that's
be the
that's
first man to pin Roman Reigns since he beat Brock Lesnar. I saw this thing online making the comparison. Undertaker went 31 and 0, had the streak broken by Brock Lesnar. Brock didn't get pinned until Roman Reigns, so Roman absorbed the streak. Roman did not get pinned until Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon technically has absorbed Undertaker's 31 and 0 streak by this point
damn.
because there's no other pins in between those four guys.
That's the world we live in.
That is the world we live in. Shane McMahon owns the 31 and 0 streak at this point, man. If you're going lineage.
Damn, that is depressing.
I just thought of that too. Oh my god, this is bad. Anyways.
And knowing them, they're just gonna double down on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, man. Shane's the best in the world, bro. Come on now. Like, but
You know, it would not at this point. It would not surprise me if he's the one that ends up beating Lesnar.
oh my god.
At this point, he's gonna hit that triangle that he can barely put on, make Lesnar tap.
No,
Man.
dude. Oh no. He'll
That's
be
the rabbit hole we're going under.
he'll be involved in like a triple threat. Like Lesnar ultimately cashes in on Kofi, right?
Yeah, just make it worse. Yeah, make it as worse as you can.
Roman gets involved, right? Because they think they want to get Roman to get the belt off Lesnar, but Shane has to be involved, so it becomes a triple threat, and Shane beats both of them.
Oh,
And not even due to Roman doing the heavy lifting. Roman gets like a Superman punch, and Shane tosses him out, hits coast to coast, bam, on Lesnar. Like that's it. Shane's your WWE champion.
if you end up being right, I will unsubscribe to you right now.
Please don't. You need to tell people more people to describe to me, man. Subscribe. Hell no. God, I hope I'm wrong.
You put it out there in the universe, man. It's too late.
It's too late. Well, anyways, after the backstage with Corbin, we get Lynch making her way out for her tag match with Bayley against Lacey Evans and Alexa Bliss, with of course Nikki Cross in their corner. Then before the match can start, we get a highlight of, I think, Mansoor is the guy's name, who won the Super Showdown 50-man Battle Royal.
Mansoor, yeah.
It's nice to
Big
see.
win for him, man. Big win for him.
Yeah, man. Nice to see such a historic win by a guy that we won't see till the next event in Saudi Arabia.
Well, he's been killing it at NXT, honestly. For only having, I think, a year or two in wrestling, like he's been progressively been killing it in NXT UK. Yeah,
So let me ask
he's
you,
gonna be big. He's gonna be
is
big.
this guy featured on network matches?
Yeah, you can pull him up on the network.
So you can
What's
pull
this recent?
You said NXT
He
and
hasn't
NXT
had-
UK?
Yeah, he hasn't had two. I think it's just 2 or 3 matches where he's had on TV. It's mostly been local shows. But
Has he had
he's
like
got
any feuds yet, or
no. He's still up and coming. It's just been, I think, his second year in wrestling. I think,
Okay.
and he's already pretty good for only like a few years in wrestling. Yeah,
He's taken to it well.
yeah. I think he's got, I think 1 or 2 wins by now. He's still a young, up and coming guy, and then this win is huge for him. But he's a guy that you're going to end up seeing more of for sure. And
Okay.
it's not just for the Saudi Arabia thing. The guy's talented.
Okay, no, I'll take that because I did see the internet kind of divided. They were like, "Oh, they gave it to that guy."
Well,
because...
most people don't watch. There's still a lot of people who don't watch NXT on the regular, so they don't really know who he was or what he can do.
Well, no,
Um,
I'm one of those people, man. Like, I don't have
yeah,
the time. I catch all the takeovers, but the weekly shows, I rely on like podcasts to keep me up to date, and even then, stuff falls through the cracks. So when I saw him pop up as the winner of Super Showdown, that was my first introduction to him, and I
right.
didn't even see him in the battle royal till the finish. I was like, oh my god, a fan rushed the stage. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know who it was, and so when I refer to the internet
Yeah.
was well divided. Half of them were saying what you're saying right now, and then the other half were playing more into the aspect of the show and giving a win to a guy that is from there, you know, and
Well,
so
even then, it was the only logical choice for a win. Like, if you would have given it to Elias, yeah, you would get some heat or whatever, but ultimately it would be pointless.
dude, I'm so happy they didn't give it to Ali because like Ali is he's from like I think like Detroit. Just because that was the rumor, like Mustafa Ali was gonna get the win because he
Which,
seems he's from there, but he's really not, dude. He's
which even then, he's of Pakistani heritage, which is not even the right country. So I don't. To
exactly
me, like
no.
that wouldn't make any sense at all.
But as bad as it's been, you never would pass that by Vince for him to not oversee that. You
Um,
know,
Man- Mansoor was one of the guys that they. I don't know if you saw the first show in Saudi Arabia that they did. They pulled three guys from some training thing, and he was one of them. He's the only one that's left actually from those guys that they pulled.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still here for a reason, you know.
Yeah, no, and I hope so, man. I hope so because I mean, he really did. It really did seem heartfelt on his end. The crowd reacted to him well, and then, like I said, there's a great portion of the internet that I saw reacted to him well. So I wasn't trying to buy into the pessimism, you know, that some people
Right,
could dive into.
and he
But
cut a hell of a baby face for a while.
yeah, no, he really did, man. Like he took that moment and made it as like got as much out of it as he could. I will give
Right,
him that, you know,
right.
knowing that there was no chance he was popping up on Raw or SmackDown, you know, like afterwards.
And a lot of the times, that's just what you got to do. Sometimes you take advantage of the opportunities you're given in life. You know, not to get too deep or anything. I'm not like some philosophical person or anything. You know,
That's
I'm
great
just saying.
advice, nonetheless. No, it's true though. It's true. It's true. You take if you get a moment, man, make it yours. Look at Kofi. Dude,
Look at Kofi.
Kofi was an injured replacement. Do you think they were going to send him to WrestleMania? Hell
Exactly.
no, dude. Hell no, they were not planning on putting him in WrestleMania.
You sometimes you could just be, doing your thing, sitting around doodling, whatever. Then you're gonna be called up to, as a replacement on a podcast. You know, things. This life works out that way, man.
Life works out that way, dude. But anyways, all right, good for Masur. You know, I the best of wishes for him up to come. I can't wait to see what happens. We do ultimately get the tag match between Lacey Evans and Alexa Bliss versus Bailey and Becky Lynch. It was good. Bailey being the hometown hero, it really just revolved around waiting for Bailey to get that hot tag. Lacey Evans was doing all right. Ultimately, what do you think of Lacey as a competitor, anyways, man? Like,
She's still a little green, but she definitely has the potential to be out there. Seeing her matches in NXT, she did get called up rather quickly, more so than most. But she definitely has. She's worked around her move sets and everything, so she definitely has the potential.
and they're giving her something to do, unlike
Right,
Apollo Crews, who they called up early and then haven't done anything with him.
right.
You know?
It's just there's a fine balance, I think, between being stuck in a character and then you just become a caricature of your character versus you being a person as a character. You know,
I
that
got
was
you.
hard to say, but you know what I'm saying.
You got it. No, you got it. You got it out, man. No, I completely agree. Eventually, they do get the hot tag to Bailey. However, it doesn't last for too long. Lacey Evans hits her. Oh no! Excuse me. Let me back up. I messed up. Bailey gets the hot tag and nails actually a nasty sunset flip bomb on Alexa Bliss into the turnbuckle. Thought that was nasty. Need more of that move. Um, but ultimately, what happens is, as the fight spills outside, Evans uses Nikki as a shield, hits the women's right on Becky Lynch, and then when Bailey's thrown into the ropes, hits the women's right on Bailey as well. Alexa Bliss goes for the Twisted Bliss for Bailey to get her knees up. But she did not see the blind tag and ultimately gets Lacey Evans' women's right a second time. Lacey Evans pins the SmackDown Women's Champion and gets the win for her team. It was an okay match. Honestly, it was all right.
Yeah, it's average. Average,
Yeah.
I'd say.
It, what I was most intrigued about is to see what role Nikki Cross was going to play. And
A lot of teasing. You never know yet
exactly
what angle they're going to do. Yeah.
they haven't done anything, so that's really what intrigued me. Backstage after the match, we have Shane McMahon. Zayn is offering to audition tonight to be the ref in that special ref match for Stomping Grounds. God, I cannot get behind that name. Anyways, by being the second ref, I never got the second ref because you got special enforcer and then you've got second referee, and it's the same damn thing, you know?
It's such a very old school like thing. Something you'd see like in AWA or something, like very old school. Like it doesn't even make sense at this point.
Yeah, no, you're right, because all it is an excuse for a extra person to be able to get in the match to some capacity, but not fully be in the match. Last time I saw it was actually that I can recall was live. I went to they did Starcade back in 2017 here in North Carolina. I attended
Nice.
that, yeah, and it was Dolph Ziggler against I want to say Bobby Roode for the Intercontinental belt, maybe U.S. belt. I can't remember. But anyways, Arn Anderson was the special guest enforcer, and he ultimately delivered a big spine buster. You know, Arn Double A gave that spine buster to Dolph Ziggler, and everyone popped. But
Nice.
yeah. Ultimately, though, it seems like a weird thing, but whatever, man. It helps push the story forward. Zayn's offering to audition. He's like, "I'll be the second ref. Maybe you'll like how I do, and I can be the special guest referee of that main event." You know. And then what got me was this. This made me chuckle. Shane was like, "How about instead, you're the referee on the outside?" And I was like, dude, that's the same thing Sami Zayn just said he was going to do. And I don't know if it was intentional or if it was a mishap, but it was just fucking stupid, dude.
It had to be intentional. I cannot think that they're that incompetent to do that on
Yeah,
accident.
I don't know, man. It just seems silly to me. But yeah, it got a chuckle out of me. Um, we got Paul Heyman. You catch the promo with Paul Heyman?
I did not.
You did not. It was another Paul Heyman promo, honestly.
Just by the numbers. Okay, I got
Kinda,
you.
yeah. By the numbers, he didn't let it drag like some of his later promos have. Mainly just recapped Brock's beatdown of Seth on Monday last week, and then Seth's beatdown at Super Showdown. But between the two, it somehow makes Seth Rollins a thug. But he said now it makes things interesting because Brock won't have to give away when he's going to cash in, which will make him ultimately a threat. It even spins the idea that Brock Lesnar might be the special guest referee at Stomping
Oh,
Grounds. Yeah. So that would be cool. I would effing love to see that, dude. But it just seems like, honestly, it's an easy way for Brock to be away from the show and still feel impactful, but it to
right.
not necessarily take away from the show like it did when he was Universal Champion.
Right.
It's like the best case of a bad situation in my opinion. So can't really be too mad at it. When do you think he's going to cash in though?
Let's see. they keep saying, "Oh, he's gonna cash it in on next Raw. He's gonna cash it in on the next pay per view." At this point, he might never cash it in. At this point,
Well, this week was the first time they said that, well, we don't have to give any indication. So at this point, they left the door wide open, you know? Um, I really think, man, he's going to take it from Kofi. Like, I just feel like I want to say it was you. It may have not been you, but someone laid the idea out with Fox coming in, and they want big stars on Fox. That having Brock as world champion on Fox would mean he'd have to have the WWE championship, and not to mention it would garnish way more legitimate heat if he took it from Kofi than say he took it with Seth. Because if he takes it from Seth, it feels like the same BS that everyone's sick of. But if he takes it from Kofi, it's like, dude, how dare you? Like,
true.
you know,
Well, it would be instantaneous heat. At the same time, you such a build for Kofi and everything. For it to end that way would feel almost cheap. It would feel like as if you're watching a movie and it doesn't end, but it's just telling you about the sequel instead. It would just
what if
go
Kofi
ahead.
gets a couple solid defenses in though?
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't. It would be too soon. He hasn't had any. I think Ziggler, Owens. It hasn't been too long yet. Enough yet. After he's done with Ziggler, I think I would say at least two or three more solid defenses, and then okay, he can lose it or whatever. But before he has a chance to actually solidify himself as a champion, to me, it would feel as a disservice just to the whole thing.
See, I'm thinking that the WWE on Fox I think happened somewhere around November. I'm thinking debut SmackDown on Fox. Get some buzz on your product. Kofi at this point has defended his belt through multiple pay-per-views including SummerSlam and possibly Survivor Series. And then on the debut episode of SmackDown, that's when Brock cashes in and it makes like mainstream headlines, everything. It gives the whole it gets huge coverage. To me that feels granted, I'm not a fan of Brock. I feel like he could go away and WWE will be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's gonna cash in, you can't for one have him cash in and fail, because it's gonna make him seem like the biggest damn doofus in the world to have a guy that much of a beast, no pun intended, fail
Right.
to cash in on someone. So I feel like that would be the biggest splash. Is let Kofi defend it through all the way from now to the Fox deal. So you're talking like another almost like what 5 months, you know?
I'm actually the way. Yeah, I'm cool with that. 5 months. That's a nice reign. I'm cool with
Yeah,
that.
that's solid, man. I think that would be good, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're probably going to wait till whatever pay-per-view follows this one up and then Brock's going to take it off Seth. And screw all the like cool booking you might be able to do with it. That's probably what's going to happen.
I mean, with the whole Lesnar situation, they just put themselves in a corner with that. There's only so much they can do.
Yeah. And it's not like he's going to work full time.
No, there's no
Yeah.
chance. That dude is making his money.
I'd love to see how much money he made appearing on what was it, 4 or 5 consecutive shows, because he went on Raw, SmackDown, Raw, skipped SmackDown, Super Showdown. So,
I believe per show it's at least 6,000. Some crazy number like that.
dude, just to sit backstage,
Yep.
not say any lines, take a couple chair shots. Although he got his elbow busted the hell up at Super Showdown. I saw that shot, bro. That looked nasty. Seth Rollins hit the hell on the outside of Brock's elbow, and
Yeah,
dude, it looked so bad.
look like a tennis ball. Yeah, it looks just like ground beef just
Oh,
on his arm.
man. He looked traumatized after the end of that beatdown, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like he really did.
He gave it good to Rollins on that previous Monday before Super Showdown, so that was fair for him to take that back.
You got to stamp the receipt, man. That's what it
Yeah.
is. You give the receipt back. Um, After the Paul Heyman segment, we catch up with what's going on in the elevator, and a couple of things that stuck out to me here was Truth. Everyone's kind of in a slight panic, and Truth is like, "I have a cell phone," and everyone's like, "Do you have a cell phone?" He's like, "Yeah, but it has no bars." And Cedric Alexander hits him with one of the best insults. He's like, "Truth, you're a rapper. How have you got no bars?" but they start talking about what they're scared of. Truth says he's scared of Hornswoggle motioning over to Drake Maverick. And Drake's like, "I'm not Hornswoggle. I'm just very short." I was like, yeah, Vince wrote some of this. I'm telling you. And oh my god, I don't know, man. It was good. Like I said, dude, it's if you're gauging when you're smiling the most, it has to be a toss up with whatever they're doing with R-Truth and what they're doing with Bray Wyatt. It's got to be those two things, man. After the segment, we get the Iconics. I think their second title defense ever, if it was a title defense. They came out to the ring boasting about how they're the longest reigning WWE Women's Champions. Says that they've scoured all over the world for competition, and then they introduced two obvious like local talent, which I'm always a fan of, dude. That's how we found James Ellsworth. I'm always a fan of seeing the little people get some shine. But dude, even the commentators couldn't get the names right on these two women, unfortunately. Like, they openly admitted that, like, they said the names and they're like, I can't point which one is which. But I think I caught one of them, which was Alita Mia, who was wearing gold, and Graves said she was the descendant of one of the Los Conquistadors, which I thought was a good callback.
Damn.
Yeah. But ultimately, of course, the Iconics win, and before even the first tag was made with the local enhanced talent. So one of the girls who didn't even get any time to shine, she didn't even get a post-match beatdown. They just beat up the first chick, and that was it. And I was like, oh my god, this is where I could feel Rob. Like, even though I wasn't talking to him, I could feel him seething if he was watching it, because God knows, dude. He loves the Iconics, and they're doing nothing with those girls.
Nah, since WrestleMania, since WrestleMania, this is only the match that they have won.
That's what I'm thinking. It's literally the second match that they've won.
And it was against local competitors as well.
Local talent in the first one, yeah, man. I feel like they're just buying their time until they can, like, they'll probably be like 2 weeks out from a pay-per-view. They'll throw together two women, give them like two tag team wins, and then bam, pay-per-view. They'll get them off the Iconics. It'll be nothing. It'll probably be just nothing, dude. And
yeah,
I'm gonna claim right now it'll be Natalya and
Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix. There you go. Yes.
I'm thinking they're gonna go with Kairi Sane and Asuka on that one.
Yeah, get the Bucati girls. Not Bucati, Jesus.
Well, this is a children's show, sir.
No, I'm thinking. No. I'm thinking about Tracy Morgan, who crashed his Bugatti, dude. Get your mind out the gutter, okay?
You're hitting me from all angles here.
Jesus. Oh my God, dude, you took that way wrong. That is not what I said.
Sir. Sir.
Jesus Christ, dude. I can't even recover from that. That's so bad. Oh my God. So bad. What the fuck, man?
All right. So I'm thinking it's going to be the Kabuki Warriors that win it.
Kabuki Warriors. Yeah, thank you. Fuck's sake, dude. It's not what I meant. It's not what I meant. I swear to God. Holy shit. Anyways, I don't know how we're gonna recover from that, but we're gonna move on. Out comes Drew McIntyre and Shane, and honestly, dude, I was at this point I had just moved out to the kitchen because I was like, I got some time to kill, but from
Shane's watching a Shane promo is it just feels like you're in a dentist office just reading a magazine and just
oh my
for
god,
it to end.
dude, that is such a good analogy because it really does feel like that. Because
They,
there's not going to be anything substantial that's going to come from it. You know what I mean? There's not going to be no groundbreaking angle. You
and this
know,
is I think the third episode in a row, including Raw and SmackDown, that he starts getting the boring chants out of people.
dude, because they're done, man. They're done. Shane's supposed to be a novelty, which is not a bad thing. Like being a novelty can be great, you know? People are going to
Right.
love it when you come around because you come around on rare occasions. You're special.
Exactly. I was like same thing to my last girlfriend. I was just a novelty.
Oh my god. Damn it, dude.
But right, novelty.
He's supposed to be. Jesus Christ. This has gone off the rails. Uh,
But yeah, it was just a promo that dragged on forever, talking about Lord knows what. He was matching. He was wearing matching leather jackets with Drew McIntyre, which I just thought was weird.
that was super weird, man.
And it just feels this is dragging McIntyre down at this point.
Dude, poor. Yeah, man. Although I feel like Drew McIntyre, out of everybody that could be buried in all this BS, man, I hope I'm not wrong, but I feel like Drew will bounce back from it.
Oh, he is completely capable of it. It's a big hole to climb out of what he's being
Yeah.
put into.
You know what happened is he'll just have to like demolish Shane like he did Dolph Ziggler, just and take Shane
Yeah.
off TV because that'll be the ultimate babyface move. By the end of the year, everyone's so sick of Shane McMahon, and then for Drew to write him off television, oh
Yeah.
god, it'll catapult him into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was just a cheap segment devised around Shane celebrating his victory over Roman Reigns, and ended with Shane introducing the Revival out for their three-way tag match, three-way tag title championship match, whatever, against Hawkins, a Ryder, and the Usos. Which I knew right away. There's no way the Usos were winning this because they got no time on the air leading up to this match. Like you got a little segment between the Revival and then Zack Ryder and Hawkins, but the Usos were a non-factor going into this match, and I don't even know why they were involved. To be honest, if you weren't going to promote them, you know.
This happened during the halftime, so I'm assuming this is where they wanted to bring people in.
I guess so. I mean, the match was pretty good. It was all right. You had the Usos. Ultimately, the way that the commentators were spinning it was the Usos were looking for their 7th title reign. This was, I believe, they said Ryder and Hawkins' first title defense after winning at WrestleMania.
Yep, they haven't been. They've been on TV, I think, one time since they won.
Yeah, man. And so ultimately, you knew they weren't retaining. There was no way they were retaining. But they did give a little tease. Zack Ryder and Hawkins almost got the win with a tag team. It was like a Samoan drop, a top rope neck breaker. Didn't pan out for him, and it was pretty much downhill from there. Jimmy Uso ultimately got a super kick party going on, hitting everybody before Jay blind tags himself in, hitting a top rope splash on Zack Ryder, only to have Dash Dawson, right? Dash Dawson?
Dash Wilder.
No, Dawson. What's Dawson's first name? 'Cause Scott Dawson?
That
Scott
doesn't sound right.
Dawson blind tagged his way into the match and got the win for the Revival off of Jay's top rope splash. And so the Revival now are I know at least 2, maybe 3-time Raw Tag Team champs. and we'll see where that goes. Because Lord knows the tag division just needs to be completely revamped, outside of
Yeah,
like the exception of a couple tag teams.
they really the tag team division is pretty squashed at this point, which is a shame since
Unless you're the Usos
Usos,
or
New Day,
New Day.
and the Bar. Those three teams were killing it.
But yeah, but Sheamus is injured, so the bar is a non-factor now. Sheamus is
Yeah,
probably retired too, actually. From what I gathered, it's spinal stenosis, which is what retired Stone Cold and Edge, I
and the
believe.
thing is, he's been wrestling with that for years at this point,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's getting any better.
No, the man's in his 40s. You know what I mean? You're not gonna recover like quicker as you
Right.
age. You know, I mean, granted, Sheamus looks like a beast. You know, but at the end of the day, man, if you're injured and you're older, you're not gonna bounce back as well. You know, but we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I really hope that with the new competition of AEW and the shine that they're putting on their tag teams, that we're going to see some form of tag team resurgence in WWE, because they have that's ultimately, I feel like that is where you could get the best matches, because you have such a bloated roster. You pair these guys up who blend well, and you can probably have some insane tag matches take place and really bring some shine back to your product. Because I think, personally speaking, I think it's easier to build a dramatic tag match while being safe. That's the key word. Than it is to have a dramatic heads like 1v1 match while being
Right.
safe.
Right.
You know, and that's WWE's thing, is they need to be safe considering how grueling the schedule is on everybody. You know, so I don't know. It's just me kind of spitballing with it, but I'd love to see something going with the tag team division. After that, we got the conclusion to our elevator segments of the night with Truth and company. Uh, Truth is still referring to Drake Maverick as Hornswoggle, is
Right.
what I noticed. The door opens, brawl ensues between everybody. Apparently, they never moved up or down. They just stood there on the same floor. The door
Wow.
opened. Everybody else that did not make it into the elevator stuck around for 2 hours. Like, it was
Yeah.
the stupidest thing. But a brawl ensued. Carmella ultimately dragged Truth back into the elevator before anyone could get a pinfall. And that was Truth's escape yet again, dude.
Corey Graves had a line right after that. He said, "So Carmella dragged our truth back into an elevator that wasn't working, supposedly."
Yeah.
Just completely buried the segment. Like,
Oh
wait,
my god, dude. It was so silly. It got
it
me.
would have made
when
it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense if throughout the whole brawl she goes into the elevator on on the left of it, and they go
Right.
into that elevator versus the one that just was not working at the moment.
I'm telling you, man.
But the whole segment's ridiculous. It's just a fun
It's
thing.
fun. It's fun, and that's the key thing, is it's still fun. And then, you know what is it? While you're smiling from that segment, we were led directly into the Firefly Funhouse segment with Bray the Builder. Essentially, he reminded me of Bob the Builder in this one, but that was quickly overshadowed with Bray. The Mercy was trying to eat the what's the bunny's name?
The rambling rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit, right? And Bray threatens Mercy by getting the Fiend, and gives Rambling Rabbit a floor to go ahead and talk to the crowd. And Rambling Rabbit threatens to, I guess, like, reveal what's really going on behind the scenes at Firefly
Rambling
Funhouse.
Rambling Rabbit threatened to pull a Dean Ambrose to tell everybody what's really going on.
That's so good. Yes. And Bray was acting as Vince and
It's
murdered him with a damn mallet. Completely murdered the rabbit.
There's guts and fluids and everything
It
everywhere.
was so great. It was like the most graphic thing on WWE television in freaking ages, man.
So it's the '90s, I think. Yeah,
Dude, and it followed up with Bray advertising Rambling Rabbit Jam. I guess he turned his entrails into
it's the
jelly.
jam.
You can now put on your peanut butter sandwiches. Dude,
That's a
oh, it's so good.
that was a dark segment.
It was so dark. Oh my god. Oh, they're just, and I think that's it. Like, from what I gather, did you see the whole thing online where Bray said that back in like 2015, 2016, he had a series of promos that all had a sentence out of place, like 8 of them.
It wouldn't surprise me if he would have something like that crazy in this stuff.
Yeah, so that's what it was. He compared it to I think like a Pink Floyd album or something. That if you played simultaneously with another album, you got a new message or a new song. That's kind of what he put out there on the internet. Well, he put that out there like 2 months ago.
Did somebody figure it out?
It finally got figured out within the last week. And they figured out it wasn't a message. It was just a series of 8 sentences. And it revealed that those 8 sentences from those promos like 4 years ago were the titles to all the Firefly Funhouse segments that we just got. And when they figured and when they figured it out, there was only one more episode to come before all 8 were revealed. So now it's speculated that that was the last Firefly Funhouse, and we're gonna get Bray's debut.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Dude, if it holds to that, that will be the most continuity WWE has ever had in the history of their company, dude. I'm telling you. But yeah,
That's insane.
I saw.
Yo, Bray Wyatt is he's the man. That's
He
so
is,
creative.
dude. It's an insult that he hasn't had a legitimate title reign, even though he won the WWE Championship. Just like his title reign was like a throwaway. But yeah, he deserved the win over Undertaker. He deserved the WrestleMania win over John Cena. Like he truly could have been and still could be one of the biggest characters that WWE has produced in the modern era. And why
For sure.
why they haven't pulled the trigger yet is beyond me, but man, he's got a good start right now with what's going on.
Believe he said himself, if this didn't work, if this doesn't work, then that's pretty much the end of his career. If this doesn't work,
Yeah, man.
because you can't come back after all those setbacks, and then they invest in you in this and you fail again. It's just
And and it really wouldn't look good if he popped up on the indies, like necessarily, because anyone who followed him heavily, you'd have that stigma of you couldn't cut it in the big leagues. You know, it's weird because some guys can leave WWE, like Dean Ambrose, and you see that he's just a much bigger deal elsewhere, and it's not because he failed at WWE, but Bray Wyatt, I feel like, would have that overshadowing him. Was he just, I don't know, man. I feel like it wouldn't be the same for him if he tried to leave them and go somewhere else.
I think it's how you approach it. For example,
It's true.
2 examples off the top of my head are Austin Aries and Ryback. As soon as they left, it was just talking smack about WWE, just all this negativity,
Yeah.
and then they end up doing nothing and end up failing in other companies as well. And that's just not a good reflection, I think, at the end of the day.
And at the end of the day, like the indies and the other big promotions, you want to have some form of positivity or optimism. And that was lacking from their message. Even Dean Ambrose, who seemed, very upset with his WWE reign, there's still optimism in his message that he's helping build up everywhere else. But you're right, Austin Aries, and then what did oh my god, what did Damian Sandow, what did he go by, like Alex something? I can't remember, but they
bashing WWE, and it's just that makes you look like like you couldn't make it over there, like you're bitter and you're a crybaby and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Instead of the indies will take you back. They'll accept you if you show genuine like will to make wrestling better, to be part of it. Be sincere. You're not here for a paycheck cashing in on your WWE name.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, I think one guy, and I'll touch on it, and then we'll finish off the last segment of the episode. But I think the one guy that hurt me the most, like I felt bad the most, not hurt me, but was Adam Rose, because he had a lot of personal issues, and he felt like I felt like his character in WWE, there could have been a lot more to him, and when he left, dude, he was he couldn't do nothing. For one, I think he had some legal issues, so he couldn't even leave the country because I think
Yeah, his life fell apart towards the end right there. I mean, I'm
yeah,
speaking on him. I don't know him personally, but it just seemed that things went haywire towards the end.
and it felt like his personality had a lot to offer, regardless where he was. And yeah, that was
They
that.
put him in this. They put him in the same bubble as Santino or more recently No Way Jose, where
You
they
just
can
throw him
wrestle,
in.
they can do all that stuff, but they, for whatever reason, they like to throw the antiquated conga line thing with the rosebuds and all that extra stuff, which just makes the whole thing look corny. It just doesn't do them any favors.
It feels like they just like, look, we have a spot to fill in our show, and we need someone to play that role, and that's it. Like, there's no other, like, anywhere you can go with it. Like, we have a role for a character, and someone needs to fill it. It doesn't matter if it's the same name. It's going to be that character, you know. And God knows, man, Santino, bro. Oh my God, don't even get me started. Thinking back about Santino. Oh,
But they tend to do that. For example, the Ascension, when they first came from NXT, they were their own original characters, and they slowly morphed them into the Road Warriors.
yep.
Once they got up here, and it's just like why repeat and recycle old characters,
And then they did that with the same thing with the Revival when they first came up. Now, it wasn't the Road Warrior shtick, but it was the whole bash on WWF's or WWE's like Attitude Era tag teams, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
eventually to get squashed and beaten down by them. And there's nothing like it's almost impossible to get beaten down by APA and DX when they don't
Yeah.
even wrestle anymore. You know what I mean? They literally team up for like a 15-minute segment, and then they're gonna F off for the next 5 to 7 years. You get beat down by them, like, dude, how you gonna bounce back? You ain't, dude. I'm just waiting for Revival to come out, bro. I can't wait for Revival.
Oh, once they leave,
and
if
the
they,
Good
if they leave,
Brothers.
yeah.
Revival and the Good Brothers slash
Oh
Clay,
man.
Garls and Anderson, or Anderson and Gallows rather. Oh man, I cannot wait for those guys.
Oh, they're gonna kill it.
They are. But let's go ahead and finish up Raw. We got the main event. In the beginning of the match, Zayn's out there portraying.
Yo, that dance as a referee, that is in a whole mood right there, man.
Oh,
The most wrestlers they'll just put the shirt on, the referee shirt on, whatever. He put the referee shirt, the pants, the shoes. He went all out.
everything, dude. Full get up, not just the shirt. But I didn't even. You know what? Actually, thinking about it, I didn't even realize that too until he took the shirt off later, and I realized, like, wait, he doesn't have his gear on. That's the only time I noticed it was when the ref shirt came off, and he just looked like an undressed referee.
Yeah.
But he patted down Rollins, and then of course when it came time to pat down Kevin Owens, he gave like a BS quick pat down just to justify that. Yeah, he's obviously going to lean one side over the other.
And then you have Kevin Owens shout to the other referee, "See, you don't touch me like that."
Dude, KO is a gem, man. KO is a damn gem.
What did he say earlier? Yeah, I'm here because it's a wild card, whatever that means.
Whatever that means, dude. Oh my God. I wonder, like, that makes me wonder if that was pre-approved or not. You think it was, but because
Probably
if
not.
his character, man, to play kind of brash, but
I don't think WWE's going to do anything to him at this point in his career. And it just seems to me, it just seems most from what I've seen wrestlers and whatever stuff they say, it just seems most of them are not happy with the wild card situation to begin with.
I feel like most of them are at this point where they're seeing like we're in a situation now because you have a roster of what over like 200 wrestlers, right? And when you have a small roster, it's easy to keep everyone afraid because you have more corporate figures than you do talent. Well, with such a huge roster, the second one person, let's just say Dean Ambrose or John Moxley, gives the finger, walks out, creates a splash, becomes beloved, it's like you see a couple other people like, oh yeah, F this place, and then a couple more people F this place, and then ultimately you're gonna have the entire roster just unhappy with the way things are going, and there's no reason to be scared anymore. There's no reason to be scared because everybody now has hope. You can be a mid-carder, you can be an undercard, you can be a main eventer. I feel like the main eventers are the only ones who really don't care. Like, you got like AJ Styles, maybe Nakamura, although I've heard Nakamura plans to not re-sign. But the older guys that nowadays just are trying to like have a safer role and cash in.
Well, yeah, like Styles, he recently signed, I believe it was a 5-year contract, and he said that this would be the last contract that he ends up signing. So
Yeah,
he'll be what, 45, I think, at that point.
yeah, he's
46.
he's just rounding it out, man. But people who are like up and coming and trying to create a career,
Oh, there's definitely much more options now than there's ever been.
yeah, because
Valid options, yeah.
yeah, and the power comes in numbers. So I
Yeah.
feel like just like at this point, there's so many people, like so many WWE people, who are breaking the rules. Let's just say that whether they're liking disparaging tweets, they're promoting AEW on social media, or they're flat out just asking for their release and putting it out on the internet. Now that we've had so many people do this, that type of attitude spreads backstage.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you'll know how quickly an attitude can spread.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like that's kind of what we're witnessing.
Well, it's like with working in a restaurant with this whole wild card, it's like when you have your schedule set, and the whole wild card thing is like when they just all of a sudden decide to change the schedule and move everything around. Now you don't know what day you're working, when you're off. Some days you're working, then you're off, then you're back to working. I don't know if you ever had that kind of schedule, but it
sucks,
completely
man.
frustrating. Yeah,
Oh, it sucks, dude. It sucks like not having a structured plan and direction.
right,
when
right.
when you know that week in and week out you don't know what's going to happen with your job, which makes it hard to plan out your personal life, and
Yeah.
and that becomes disparaging. And now when you're in a company that all of a sudden your paycheck, which at one point was the only place that was going to pay you like that, no longer is. You can make that money elsewhere, dude. You don't care. That's like if, like I said, if you're working, let's say you're working at Applebee's and they're screwing you, you know what I mean, and they're giving you that treatment, and you'll make the same money over at Ruby Tuesdays, and you talk to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you a set schedule. We'll go ahead and let you know like what you're working and what the plan is. You're just gonna flip Applebee's off till you can leave and go to damn Ruby Tuesdays. you know? And by the
Hell
way,
yeah.
this is a free plug, by the way.
People thought this was just a podcast. This is life advice, yo. This is therapy.
This is some of the stupidest shit ever. Oh man, let's wrap it up, man. We're almost an hour and a half in. Let's wrap it
Right.
up.
So the segment ends up,
Segment ultimate.
Owens and Rollins battle it out. You get
Yeah.
your interference with your shenanigans with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I believe he distracts the ref, and then Owens ends up.
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
Zayn distracts the ref while Rollins attempts a roll up. And then it doesn't work out for him. KO ends up working Rollins' injured body for a good portion of the match. Goes for a splash, ultimately having Rollins get his knees up to counter. Rollins goes top rope. Zayn interferes. Like you said, shenanigans ensue. Eventually, Seth gets the stomp on KO, what looks like for the win. Sammy pulls the ref out the ring. At this point, Rollins, being frustrated with Sammy, grabs him by the shirt, and we get a DQ finish, which was kind of laughable. I was like, can you really DQ him for that? But apparently you can. Rollins ends up beating down Sammy because that's kind of like Sammy's role now, is to take the beat down for somebody else. Corbin tries to get involved. Seth grabs a chair. He pretty much fends off everybody. Corbin retreats, and Seth then further beats down Sami Zayn. With what I noted here, the safest looking chair shots I've ever seen. I think after the beatdown he gave Brock, they were like, hey, man, pull back a little on the aggression. Like, there were some soft looking chair shots, man.
Yeah.
Zayn gets stomped, and while Rollins stares down Corbin, that's pretty much Raw. During that match, I don't know, I didn't see it at any point, but it did look like Rollins got his eye cut. Like, he looked like he was bleeding a little bit from the eye, so I'll be interested to look back at that. I don't know if you saw it, but
no, I saw the ref have the gloves. I'm assuming someone had some blood somewhere.
yeah, I think ref got or Seth got cut, but overall, I mean, it was an all right Raw. It was pretty good.
Yeah, but the bar being set so low from the last two Raws, like it had to be at least pretty good, I guess. Yeah. That's what we shoot for these days, anyways. It's just pretty good.
That's kind of the mentality. You have to walk into Raw and SmackDown with your expectations so low to get through it. But like I said, ultimately, I'm gonna be optimistic. But it was an all right show, man. It was okay. I liked, like I said, I liked that we have tag team champions that will probably be on TV.
I think if anything, this Raw, it just felt like something happened. You know, I felt like something was going on. Like there was something versus the past Raws. It just felt like you just wasted your whole 3 hours.
Yeah, we got some development on the U.S. title scene. Not to mention some good action in there. You actually they allowed Ricochet to do his thing, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, overall, it was an okay show. Wasn't the best. Wasn't terrible. You know, it did its part. I'm kind of ready to see Becky Lynch, though. I'm kind of ready to see not her necessarily lose the belt, but she needs to have someone getting the upper hand on her. Having her as a dominant champion, I don't think is doing her big favors. I think Becky, if she doesn't lose the belt, she needs to be having somebody like either jumping her backstage or look like a serious impending threat. Because this bland feud she has with Lacey Evans, it doesn't matter if she wins or loses. It doesn't really garnish much interest, and there's not much to gain with the match, in my opinion.
I think that whole corner was just backed up with her actually winning both belts. I think that kind of hurt her a little bit.
Well, I hit it up on my show. I liked, or on mine and Rob's show here on the Smack Drop podcast.
Nice.
Thank you. That's so stupid. No, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that with her having both belts, I think the only way to do it properly was to have her defend both of them throughout a couple pay-per-views.
Right.
And the fact that she lost one of the belts immediately kind of just sucked. But if you had gone into like 2 or 3 pay-per-views knowing that Becky Lynch had 2 matches every single one, that would have been kind of cool because, like I said, it has the odds stacked against her, you know?
Right. And I don't. Nobody has defended 2 belts at 1 pay-per-view. It has not happened since
Seth
I
Rollins.
believe. No, he lost the belt. You have to go all the way back to Eddie Guerrero at No Way Out, 2005, I think.
I thought Seth defended the U.S.
lost
and the World Championship.
He lost one of them. I believe he lost to John Cena. He lost the U.S. belt, I think, and kept the main one. He lost one of them.
Damn, really? I thought he kept it, man. I remember.
No, he was a right.
Yeah, I'll check on it.
Yeah.
Later. You're probably right. I mean, you're probably right. It's been a long time. But yeah. But anyways, I think that's our show tonight, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to catch us on. This will probably be going up. If not Tuesday, it'll be. Well, you guys aren't live. If this goes up Wednesday, we'll have SmackDown going up the following day. So whatever day Raw goes up, SmackDown will be up the following day. Thank you again. This is Kyle and our special guest Benji. Benji.
Yo, thank you for having me. It's been a blast, man. You can all catch me at Calavera Comedy, Twitter, eventually YouTube, eventually, other stuff, whatever. I can only do one social media at a time, people. I'm sorry. But it's been a blast. It's a whole with hour 49 minutes. It went by so fast. We covered everything. We covered life. We covered Raw.
a little bit of everything, man. You're gonna join us for SmackDown though, right? Tomorrow?
Yes, I will. I'll be here. Got you.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we'll catch you on the next one, you guys. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Peace.